The program Breakfast Daily, the segment News Review. It's time to have a conversation on the topical issues that have dominated our media space. We'll be going into it and bringing you different perspectives to it, and of course help shape the discourse as we always do here on the show. I have three strong gentlemen in the studio with me. Dr. Palgrave Boakye Dankwa is a member of the New Patriotic Party. Doc, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Looking good as always.
Thank you so much.
Right. Larry Dogbe, a regular on the show. He's the editor of the Herald newspaper. So Larry, good morning.
Mr. Dogbe.
Mr. Dogbe. You've not been knighted.
No.
And then the good prof is here. Professor Michael Ayamga Dongo is here. Deputy CEO in charge of Operations Environmental Protection Authority. Prof, good to have you.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Great. I hope GTEC is not coming after you.
No, I don't have any questions to ask.
Oh, when they do, you can defend it.
I'm sure by now they know everything. I've worked for it. I'm okay.
That's what we are starting from anyways. The Ghana Tertiary Education Council is more or less policing academic titles in the country. The most recent one has to do with the Deputy Minister of Health. GTEC says there's no evidence to support her using the title professor. Her legal team has written back to the GTEC, accusing the GTEC of bias and threatened legal action. I'll start with you, Prof, since you also hold same title. Your observation, your take on this particular matter.
I think we need to be very cautious about how we approach this issue. But before I start, I just want to say good morning to your viewers across the globe, and also good morning to my people of Northern Ghana. You see, the issue of titles has more to do with the Ghanaian culture than people's desire to beat the system also. So I feel that it goes beyond just the individuals projecting these titles. It is what we think titles can do. That is why we are having these issues, and we need to put that on record. But more important is the confusion that also it projects. Professorship, depending on the jurisdiction you are in, could be a title, a job description, or just an academic status. In Ghana here, it is a stage in your career you acquire through research, teaching, and a whole host of experiences. And at every stage in of the way, you go through reviews by your peers, by external peers. You project what you have done in terms of teaching and research, also publications. Then you are subjected through both internal and external review. And after that, you are written to, or if it is at the professorial level, a council duly constituted by the appointing authorities then confers the professorship title on you. In the United States, or in mostly North America, the title professor is just like the title lecturer. So what has been the problem is that if someone from that environment comes into our system, they come with the title, they import it. Because they don't come and they are all called lecturer. Maybe he was using the title professor, comes to Ghana and still using the title, joins the university. In our books, he will be probably a lecturer or maybe a senior lecturer, but still uses the title professor because that is what the fellow imported into the system. Is it an intention to be criminal? No. Is the fellow projecting the title trying to beat the system? I don't think so necessarily. Here, it is now an issue of linguistics, let me put it that way, especially in the case of the deputy minister. Do we want her to stop using it because she is intending to cheat, or she came from a system that recognized her as a professor? I think it is the latter, that she came from a system that conferred to her professor. You look at assistant professor, that's their entry grade. In our system here, is assistant lecturer. We go through 4, 5, 6 stages. They have two. From assistant professor, you go to associate professor, and then you are full professor. Just those 3 stages. And you want to ask yourself, at which point of those stages do you compare to, let's say, senior lecturer, associate professor, or full professor? So those are the challenges here. I don't think the deputy minister wants to beat the system. It's just that she comes from a system that described her as a professor, and she's bringing it here. Now, what is not helping the case, and I want to be straightforward, is trying to project it as if it is equivalent to what happens here.
Right.
So there shouldn't be that argument at all. It may not be equivalent to what is happening here, but was she a professor in the United States? Yes. Can she hold herself here as a professor? Maybe outside, yes, but in the university, she is not. So these are the nitty-gritties of the issue. And I think that, yet much as I appreciate GTEC for policing the system, you should go after those abusing it. Maybe not somebody who has come from the system that described her as a professor, and you think that once she's not entered the university to teach, University of Ghana, or where I come from, UDS, to teach, I don't think that we should make a whole host about it. That said, there are times that even in the United States, you are tenured. When you are an assistant lecturer or a professor, you are normally more or less regarded as an assistant lecturer here or a lecturer here. You are tenured when you go through certain processes, and it's also a very rigorous one. So by the time you become tenured, then you can say, okay, you are a professor or you are an associate professor in that regard. So in the case of the deputy minister, I want to ask whether was it a tenured professor, and that is where we need to go. But I don't think that she is using the title professor with the intention to project herself as what she's not. No. So we need to separate those 2 issues.
Very well, very well. Dr. Prerogative, let me come to you. It was like Larry, whom I'm trying to confer the title sir on, and has rejected.
Rejected.
He's the only one without a title.
He doesn't want to have any problems with the king. But a very good morning to you, and to Prof, and to Larry, and to your beautiful Ghanaian people and around the globe. And to state it that GTEC has a responsibility, really, to ensure that rightfully earned academic credentials are associated with people thereof. And I can agree very much with Prof when he states that the jurisdictions are very different. I know persons who either teach in North America or teach in UK, and the entry point, as is rightly stated, is either a lecturer or assistant lecturer, and you go into professorship and associate professorship. So when your students begin to call you prof, and you hold that as such, and you come into a jurisdiction like Ghana, and you are not supposed to hold that as such, I think that those are the issues that there are in. For those of us that are in academia, you know that I lecture at UPSA as well. One of the things that I would ask for GTEC to do in terms of cleaning up the system is to go after other persons that are using the titles wrongly. So those that have not earned it academically, people that are referring to themselves as doctors, as professors, that have no academic credentials whatsoever. They either do not have a first degree or even a second degree or even a master's.
But they have honorary degrees.
Well, even honorary degrees are
honorary
wrong.
Doctorates.
Yes, the honorary doctorates are wrong. When you have an honorary doctorate, it must not precede your name because you have not earned that as such. And for persons that school outside, GTEC holds the view that if you school as I schooled in France, my PhD is from IPAGE Business School. And when you come, you're supposed to submit your credentials to GTEC for GTEC to verify that.
Right.
When GTEC verifies that, GTEC can now say that based on the studies that you did, it's equivalent to a PhD in philosophy in Ghana, and then you can accredit that to yourself. But there's a troubling issue as well that we must look at, and I think that GTEC must not just they should leave the deputy minister alone. For crying out loud, she's a deputy minister of state. She's a member of parliament. The state recognizes her as a higher echelon who is serving the public. I think that there are people that, for me, are using titles that they must go after. And from a religious background, I know that there are some people that are holding themselves certain titles. GTEC is supposed to look at all institutions as it is. We know that in this country we have theological institutions that are accredited.
Yeah.
We know there's the Trinity Theological Seminary. We know of the Ghana Baptist Seminary. We know of the Assemblies of God Seminary. We know of those that people go through to be able to acquire their studies and their certification. I would want to entreat GTEC to turn their attention on the religious bodies. Those that are using reverend doctors and apostles and professors and all of those that are also not accredited. I think that GTEC must turn their attention there, and that would be able to sanitize the system. In a country where we live in, yes. I'm calling for trouble.
These are anointed men.
Yes, I mean, those are divine titles.
I know. I'm calling for trouble. I know.
think it should be an academic rank as well.
Oh, of course, because you see, people. I can't profess myself to be a lawyer if I just hold an LLB and I've not done the professional.
Right.
I mean, I can at best in other jurisdictions consider myself as a solicitor, but here in this country we don't even do that. So if people are holding themselves prophets, if people are holding themselves apostles, people are holding themselves evangelists and the likes, and people are calling themselves the reverend title, there are people that have gone to school. They've gone to Trinity Theological Seminary. They've done a first degree. They've done a second degree. They've done a PhD. So it's right for them to be called a reverend because they have finished a certification that is so recognized. I got very scared in this country when on one Friday, one was an idol worshiper. On a Sunday, had started a church. I mean, I was so surprised. I was like, what kind of society are we living in? You know, I'm not saying I am glad that the person has been convicted and sent behind bars and is serving the sentence, but it clearly tells you that we need a system that is sanitized. We need a system that is well structured. When the system is sanitized and well structured, you will not have a lot of these issues going back and forth where people are holding themselves titles that they are not supposed to be holding. Look at the radio stations that we have in this country. You can have someone who can come and sit on it who has not gone to any herbal school, professing himself to be a herbal medicine doctor, and then also prescribing medications. All those things are issues that GTEC must go after, so that we can clearly have a sanitized system. We don't have no issues whatsoever, so that if you meet someone who is saying that I'm a doctor, and it's MED, which is medical doctor, then you know that you can be sure that the person can prescribe some certain medications for you.
Right.
We were in this country. I was younger then when Dr. Beckley, you remember, at Dansoma, when you enter his house through the door, you can't find the door anymore. And he was doing a lot of things in this country. And I was told that this man either schooled in Russia or so and didn't graduate, and some funny things. And was in Ghana and was doing a lot of things to people. So it clearly tells you that GTEC has a lot of responsibility. I want to expand their scope a little bit more. Their office is not too far away from Trinity Theological Seminary. They can easily get...
Actually on the same stretch.
Yes, they can actually get all the persons that have graduated from Trinity Theological Seminary, because it's an economical...
But Trinity is not the only seminary.
That's where I'm coming. It's an economical body which has Assemblies of God, which has Presby, which has Anglican, and all of those. The Catholics also have theirs. Go and get all those that are supposed to be called Reverend Fathers. Go and get all those that are supposed to be called nuns. Get all those that are supposed to be called Reverend. Get all those so that we can be sure. So that we don't have an issue where one Friday one is calling on an idol worshiper, on a Sunday has started a church. We need to be able to sanitize the system and have a structured system in the country.
Very well, Doc. Thank you. Mr. Dogby.
Yes, sir.
From Prof.
Yeah, true. You're also a Mr. O.
I'm also a Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Right, it's just that I have a local name, so preceding it with Mr. sounds, it doesn't sound right. I am an Anna.
Oh, okay.
Without the stew.
Nice one. We'll find you one.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the legal team of the Deputy Health Minister is questioning the authority of the GTEC to request evidence from a body outside of Ghana.
Yeah.
That has, according to them, duly conferred these honors on the Deputy Minister.
Yeah.
Does the GTEC have this authority?
Good morning to my colleagues, the professor and then the doctor.
The doc.
Yeah. No, I think that they've said all that need to be said. Prof has clarified what exactly is at stake.
Exactly.
The jurisdictional issue, which is what happens there and then what happens here. And the fact that, while there, you can be addressed as a professor, but when you come here, I mean, situations are different. Pargraves has also, essentially alluded to that as well. But added the divine, going to the...
Extended the net.
He has elevated it to the religious angle. And but I would like to say that this is much ado about nothing. It's an environment that we pride ourselves with certificates, but less substance. Okay? I mean, do you think Chinese will be involved in this debate? Do you think Chinese will be involved in this debate? Let me give you a typical example. Go to what is happening at Tech, KNUST. University for what? That's supposed to be a technical driven.
Science and technology.
Exactly. And go to Kumasi magazine. And what happens there? So one is awarding certificate and one is doing the practical side of things. Listen, let the car be damaged whatsoever. Drive it from Tema or put it on a truck and drive it to Kumasi.
Magazine.
And give them 1 week or 2. You have that car as fresh as new because somebody has applied a practical side to all that is. Now, drive that same car maybe with an electrical fault to maybe Tech and see whether that car will come out the way the way you wanted it. So it's a society that is so much fixated with certificates. Why? What the act that sets up GTEC, that's the Ghana Tertiary Education, exactly. What is it? What is it expected? What does the act expect them to do?
It gives them oversight over tertiary education.
And chasing certificates or who is a professor or who is a doctor or something. For me, it's not the core business of that body.
But you agree that it remains the business of GTEC, even though not core.
But you see, listen, they are supposed to. We have a lot of mushrooming universities all over the place.
Yeah.
That GTEC is supposed to regulate.
True.
And not long ago, I think there was a concern that some of the
programs are not accredited.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What has become of that? What has become of that? And they even went to the extent of even not mentioning the universities' names. Okay? Because, people couldn't go to the mainstream, the University of Ghana, all the public universities and so on. So people have found a way of, using some 2-bedroom somewhere structure and then open up a university. Whether they are being regulated or not, nobody is telling us anything. And people who are desperate, students who are desperate to go to university are paying so much money.
Yeah.
These are the things that,
GTEC should
you name and shame and make sure that access is created for everybody. But this thing that every now and then, this one is a professor. Stop using that name. You are not this. You are not that. Listen, for me, it's becoming way too much. For me. I have friends across. I've been taught by, doctors, professors, and so on and so forth. I'm not saying that I disrespect or I'm disrespecting whatever they put into it, the industry that they put into it in acquiring those titles. But I think that this is not about them, it's about GTEC. Okay, there are key or core functions that, the arts that created them expects them to do. Regulate, whatever is happening within the educational space. The courses being read and developing human resources for this country.
Yeah.
Are they doing that? Years ago, we were paying thousands of pounds to University of London for courses, some of which are, here. But the system is such that, listen, even though you want to go to school, I mean, we have created some cutoff points. Your grades are not meeting those, cutoff points. One, even when you meet it, you are having to go through an entrance examination. Even when you pass that one, you have to go for an interview. Thereafter, they come and tell you that, oh, okay, you know something. You are a foreigner. We think you have a foreign name, so you are a foreigner. So you have to, pay what foreigners are going to pay. And the country is still where we are, and we are not progressing. And that is what, we are dealing with. Titles. We are fighting over titles. Haggling over it. I am. You are not. You can be. Chief. For how long? I recall somebody told me a joke about a certain gentleman who was at Tamale Poly.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime he meets you, he will be like, I am Dr. Abdullah, so and so. You are Mr. Who?
But he throws it in your face.
You ask you are Mr. Who? And so we tell him now, you're also Dr. Suso. So they say, oh yeah, what was your research on? You get it. So I mean, people are so fixated with titles.
Yeah.
But elsewhere, people don't care. It is what you can do. Bill Gates. Is it Elon Musk?
Yeah.
How about the guy with Facebook?
Zuckerberg.
Exactly. Jobs. Is that it? Steve Jobs. And the other guy, the Amazon guy. Exactly.
Bezos.
Yes, sure. Are these guys who are...
Are they professors?
Are they professors? Are they doctors? They are controlling money.
Yeah.
Chief. And we are here haggling over this. I'm sick and tired of this. Whether divine or pure academics.
But then you agree the right thing must be done.
Very soon, fetish priest.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, fetish priest will also start calling himself, and GTEC will go after them. You know.
Dr. Nana Honhum Kesi.
Charlie, we need to get serious. I mean, this morning we are discussing this.
Yeah.
What is happening on Ofankor Road?
Yeah.
Where a contractor had collected money and gone to bed. And the residents on that stretch are suffering night and day. Meanwhile, that is one of our key international roads to, wherever. When, we can make so much money on that stretch. Friday, people spent 15 hours on that road.
I saw the report in the Herald yesterday.
Chief, and we are here discussing, whether you can use the title.
We have more pressing matters to discuss instead of this. But just a bit of education. So, Prof, I'll come back to you. On the GTEC statement, there is a number of concerns. One has to do with the fact that the response from the legal team of the Deputy Health Minister left out the word adjunct. Adjunct. And that she was appointed an adjunct assistant professor. GTEC believes that it was deliberately left out to mislead. Then again, they stressed that the role was a non-tenure track. So she wasn't tenured. And within Ghana's academic framework, it is equivalent to a part-time lecturer, not a senior lecturer, to even talk of a professor. So based on what you know, if you can help us with some explanation regarding
I
this.
want to agree with what my colleague said. Does that put food on the table, like one of my young boys always say?
Thank you.
It's not something we should be worried about. If he had come to the university
Yeah.
we'll put her at the appropriate rank. If the deputy minister had come to the university to work, we'll put her at the appropriate rank.
Right.
She's in parliament. She came from a jurisdiction that call her professor. And this is where I disagree with GTEC. Whether it is adjunct or not, when somebody is appointed to the university and it's even adjunct professor, we don't see him and say, hello, adjunct professor. No, we call him professor. And she comes, she's in parliament, her colleagues will meet her in the United States and still refer to her as professor. Why do you waste your time? And I have a problem with GTEC. I think they're overreaching. They are becoming like the headmasters of tertiary education in this country. And more or less leaving their core mandate, which is regulating the quality of tertiary institutions.
Yeah.
They are the very ones that go granting accreditation to the very poor universities. And by the grace of God, I have accessed so many universities. And sometimes it is sickening to think that what they come to do in our university in the name of accreditation, these ones get through it. And that is the problem. That's why they should be policing. The reason we have fake degrees and very bad degrees in the system is that very poorly equipped institutions end up getting accredited by this same GTEC. And so that is what they should focus on. I think their core mandate should be getting government to equip our universities to deliver quality education so that you don't have certificates without substance like it has been said here. I would rather share my title with people who haven't earned it if I can only make sure that the title is leading to development and progress in this country rather than going after anyone with it. If you are a real professor, you don't care whether others are using it rightly or not. Your reputation precedes you.
Right.
And that is the key thing I think they should focus on here. I don't want us to waste our time talking about, in the case of the deputy minister, you just see that this is a case where they want to name and shame people. Sometimes there are fake foreign universities in the system here. GTEC sits down until they enroll people, graduate people, then you now start going after those individuals. Yes, you can do that, but wouldn't it have been better you are proactive and agile to the extent that you are policing and warning the public against these unscrupulous institutions that end up giving people degrees, these degree mills, giving them qualifications that are not maybe consistent with what we expect, and then you now start going after the individuals. I don't think that that is where we should be focusing on. One thing we need to focus on is also separate the substance from the fiction here. There are people I agree that in this country, once you have a title, you can lead so many people to do so many things.
Right.
And that is why you have many of the religious leaders trying to co-opt those titles, though through divine means.
Divine orchestrations.
Yes. Because they think you are a doctor. By the time you are a PhD, it just shows one thing, that you can submit yourself to a process, go through it, get verified by your peers, and it shows you are a disciplined person. So when a university calls you and awards an honorary doctorate degree, it's just in recognition of something you have done somewhere. You can't put that before your name. In your CV, it's supposed to be at honors and not qualification sections. So these are the issues there. Should we be worried about them? Yeah, if the people are those we think can deploy those qualifications to defraud and deceive people, then yes. But an honorable member of parliament, we are wasting resources going after an honorable member of parliament who in any case was an adjunct professor or whatever. That means he was teaching in the university. And in their system, they call them professors. She carries that title into our system, into parliament, not into academia. And we are running after her. I don't think that we need to mix those issues here. Let's do the policing of academic degrees, but not go after individuals in the attempt to shame them. We, those who have rightly earned these titles, don't think it is a problem if somebody calls himself a nickname professor. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not that vain to be worried about it.
Very well.
Just a quick one. You know, the GTEC was established at 10/23 of 2020, and it's called the Education Regulatory Bodies Act. And amongst the objects that it's supposed to do is to ensure efficient and effective administration and accreditation of tertiary education institutions. Then says that the principles of the provision of consistent quality of service by tertiary education institutions. And the third one, advancement and application of knowledge through teaching, scholarly research and collaboration with industry and public sector. And the third one, the development of appropriate human capital for the sustainable advancement of national economy. Do you see that happening? Are we seeing that happening? Okay? We are not seeing that. Supposed to, ensure, general regulation of whatever happens within the educational sector.
Yeah.
And also, provide advisory, let's say, advisory services, coordinating, issues within the educational sector, and also regulatory accreditation and all those stuff. We are not seeing all that. And today, you are a professor. Tomorrow, you can't be. The next day, we know ourselves. I mean, it's become like an elitist, an elite group. I mean, I don't think that this should be, anything out of the ordinary. It is your services. Listen, I'm saying that kids, sometimes we used to watch documentaries where the watches that we wear are designed by nursery kids. You see the practical side of it. Recently, I saw a video where, somebody compared what's happening in China, Japan, and elsewhere, where those kids are being practical. Those who are being taught how to cook are cooking. Those who carpentry, they are. I was here. The kids were in the prayer camp somewhere, being taught how to speak tongues. Tongues, eh? And you had a small boy who was holding a microphone and commanding godly people. I mean, that small boy, what does he understand by religion? Okay, the concept of Christ and then the heaven and all those things. No, but because he's been psyched up to think like that. His peers are designing the watches that his parents are wearing. And if that child at that level is designing a watch, only God knows what he will do
in the future.
In the future. I mean, those are the things that we need to be thinking about. We can't continue to be blowing hot air and doing dry politics. And yet we want our economy to be better, unemployment to be addressed. So we should live good. Chief, I mean, let's get serious.
Very well. Look, let me move you into different territories. The president, under his prerogative of mercy, has pardoned some 998 prisoners. Now, let me be a bit...
a bit you.
a bit me. And throw in the fact that Atuesien and Agrada are missing from the 998.
Nana, I think that the conversations, for me, we thank the president for the amnesty, but our prisons are choked.
Yeah,
that's the real truth. I did a research into the prisons about a year and a half ago and realized that our prisons are choked.
That's when you spoke on governance and security.
Yes. I mean, and I realized that our prisons are choked. And so
when you were riding the elephant.
Oh God. Oh God, these two gentlemen. Prof, you have to come to my rescue.
Well, facts are sacred, aren't they?
Our prisons are choked. We've had some very difficult challenges in the prisons, and I think that for the Ghana Prison Service, we must commend them for the works that they have done over the years. And government must turn particular attention to infrastructural works in the prisons. It's really challenging and a big concern. Even with our prison cells at the various police stations, we realize that sometimes there are people that are there on remand and they can stay there for some number of months before they are even sent to any of these correctional centers.
Right.
And I mean, the pardon is good, the amnesty is good. If you look at the issues that have arisen, people that have been first-time offenders, people that are either breastfeeding, pregnant, good behavior, and all of that is commendable. I think that is standard practice that every now and then presidents have an opportunity to grant amnesty to people that are in the prison cells. But for me, I think that we should have a broader conversations around our correctional centers.
Yeah.
The goal of putting people in prison is to ensure that we have a safe society.
Right.
So that our society does not become too scared that you cannot live in. I've found that people have found Ghana to be a very safe haven and a very peaceful one where you can go for a walk at night and not be scared. And because it's Ghana, it's peaceful. So if people are a threat to the peace that we enjoy in our society and they are sent to prison, they are supposed to be corrected and then come back to join the society. We need to expand our prison infrastructures. In ChannelOne prison is overly overchoked. We need to look at the infrastructure at ChannelOne prison. We need to look at infrastructure at Osherford prisons. We need to look at our infrastructure at Buster homes.
Yeah.
We need to look at our infrastructure across the length and breadth of the country, cut across in our prison cells. I recall that in the past administration, the former IGP had a thought to build the police stations with bricks.
Okay.
And the rationale and the goal was that during the temperature measure that we have in terms of the heat, it would be able to conserve some level of heat and it will be a bit colder in there. I would want to suggest to the new IGP, IGP Yohonu, to consider an infrastructure of brick building for, and when I mean brick, I don't mean cement and blocks. I mean like the bent one.
Yeah.
Yes, the bent bricks one. I think we have one closer to UPSA that was built as a model, so that when people are there on remand and they are using those facilities, the human life is important in all of these things. So the amnesty is good. It's important that we expand the conversation, look into our prison reforms. Why do we send people to prison? So that they can have correctional measures. I think that sometime this year, I read a statement from the Minister of Interior asking that they would want to have some persons who are serving sentences in prison go into some agricultural measures.
Yeah.
What I realized over the years has been that when people are almost done with their service, they bring them to weed.
The
medians, yes, they bring them to weed. And when they bring them to weed, they start begging for money on the streets. These are ethics that must not be encouraged over and over again. So those will be my comments on the issue. That we commend President Mahama for the amnesty. I don't know Akrada and Atuesien. I think that Atuesien, I read on the portals as well that he wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
And so if there's a way they can look at him, I mean, because I think that the health is important. Life is only one. Everyone has a family. People, he's a first-time offender. And so if there are measures that can be looked at it. As for Akrada, I think she's caused too much chaos in this country. And so we would wish her well wherever she is. And we really pray that God would minister to her properly and rightly. And pray that there are other people that are here on the streets that are doing things that are not akin to the serenity that we must enjoy as a society. The requisite bodies must go after them.
Very well. Larry, let me come to you. Out of 1,014 submitted by the prison service, the president, upon review with the Council of State, granted this amnesty to 998. I'll give you a breakdown of the beneficiaries. So 787 first-time offenders, 87 inmates on death row commuted to life imprisonment, 51 life sentences reduced to 20-year fixed terms, 33 seriously ill prisoners, 36 inmates above 70 years of age, and then 2 nursing mothers. Do we have confidence that what is expected to happen before they are released to ensure, if you like, a smooth reintegration into society has happened, especially on the reformation that Papa Grave spoke about?
Well, something clicked me when you mentioned the 2 nursing mothers.
Right.
Did it mean they got pregnant before going to prison?
Oh, they got pregnant in prison.
Or in prison?
Well, I'm sure it's something we can look into. We don't know what their original sentences are, how many years they are serving, and when they began the service. If we knew this, then we could at least come to some.
Yeah, I'm asking this because then the Agrada, before she was sentenced,
she was asked to go for the pregnancy test.
To go for a pregnancy test.
Which is statutory.
Exactly. Yeah. So in their case, was that done or it wasn't done? If it was done, what was discovered? If it wasn't done, why? Okay.
I think they got pregnant in prison.
They got pregnant.
Let's assume they got pregnant in prison.
That's scandalous, isn't it?
The angel of the Lord visited them like Mary.
No. It's not scandalous. I mean,
it's human beings that are gathered together. Relationships can burn.
No, so but
the prisoners are separated based on gender.
Based on gender,
of course, but they have social gatherings. Have you been to prison?
So during the social gathering, things were happening in public
as part of the
socialization.
Let's assume they got pregnant.
No, I mean I don't want to assume.
you want to know the facts.
Yeah, I want to test the hypothesis. Maybe through that I can giving a PhD. You know, so I mean, I want to know the essence of that. But I'm saying this more also because I have handled some of these documents before in the past, where names of the prisoners to be set free were listed. You get it? Yeah. So who was committed from, let's say, death row to life. From life to some years, and from years to exactly. Yes, so all that were listed. And I recall some of those documents happened during the Kufuor years. So you had the names on that thing. Now what that affords you or a family member is that you know that, oh, finally your guy who has been in prison is coming home. So the family will have to prepare itself to welcome him. Again, the society in which he lived and the activities that he did that got him into prison, the society will be very careful of him. Yeah. You get it? Yeah. So everybody is assured that, hey, your name is there. But I don't know what is happening in this particular case. Yeah. Where those names are not available. So you and I can determine whether or not a new sheriff is coming into the area who will be giving us help. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And the absence of that is what has also led to this speculation as to whether or not Agrada, a first-time offender. I hear they call her Evangelist. whether Evangelist.
But you see, the courts do not recognize her as a first-time offender. Recall that she was convicted.
She's been convicted
and fined.
Okay.
She didn't serve a custodial sentence then.
Okay.
She was fined.
Okay.
So it was one of the arguments the prosecutors raised in court, that she's not a first-time offender.
Okay. So, I mean, be it as it may, the absence of the name is what has led us to,
speculation.
Speculation. Yeah. And also that Atuasian is also being mentioned in there.
He also, we understand, has secured bail pending an appeal.
Yeah, pending an appeal. So he's been, he's out. I'm sure that is what. But Atuasian's case is quite, peculiar. The man, for the period that he was convicted, never spent even a month or so in prison. He was mostly at 37. Yeah. Undergoing medical whatever. Okay. So we need to know the names. Further and better particulars will be allowed. What that does also to the government that is concerned about crime rates is that you begin to check, okay, as to, this guy was convicted based on so and so, but since his release, either the person whose house he attacked has been attacked again or has even been, harmed. So you know that, okay, Tufor reported Larry Dogbe. Larry Dogbe was convicted. Larry Dogbe spent some years in prison. Since then, Tufor had his peace. However, since the release of Larry Dogbe, Tufor,
I'm living in fear and panic.
Exactly, you are living in fear and panic. We need to know that. Again, this blanket whatever allows prison officials to now be inserting names or negotiating as to who should be put where and so on. So you would have a certain number with you as a government, you have authorized it. However, since you don't have the name, it's subject to every trading.
Yeah.
So give us the names. Let's all monitor. Is Atai part of this? Do you know whether Atai is part of this?
We do not know that.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So we need further and better particulars. I mean, for me, the absence of that is too, risky for me to buy into. And I'm saying that in the past, names were given out.
Yeah. Yeah.
How come in recent years we are not getting this? If you recall, before President Akufo-Addo left office, there was this report that he had granted pardon to Atuasian or some, prisoners. And then a statement had to be issued to deny it.
Yeah.
Now, President Mahama has given it, but then the names are critical. He would also want to ensure that a name is released. In the absence of that, this speculation is going to happen, and people could even twist it to say that, listen, you release hardened criminals into society, and no wonder your crime rate is going up. The police are not on top of their work these days.
You think so?
And so you would want, you don't see the crime rising?
Yeah, we've seen an increase in crime rate. We don't have the statistics to speak of, but based on media
reports, you could see that.
We can.
And so if we are releasing more people who had been to prison for one reason or the other, first-time offender could be anybody. He could be a murderer.
Yeah.
He could be a petty thief. It could be a pickpocket or who comes under. But let's know the names. Let's have the list. Let's confirm whether our cousins or uncles or aunties are all part of that. But more importantly, I want to know about the 2 pregnant women. The nursing, how they got pregnant.
The nursing mothers.
The 2 nursing mothers. Yes, I want to know.
Right.
Or you don't want to know?
Oh, it will be interesting to find out what exactly happened. And when it happened.
And how it happened.
Well, Prof, let me come to you on this amnesty and what you make of it. If, just like Larry said, it's important to know who these persons or these beneficiaries are. But I am looking at how society is prepared to accept these people.
Yes, I like to commend the president at least for the gesture. It is his constitutional right. He has a prerogative to grant pardons. And what excites me is it is a, let me say, a lift up, especially given the gloom over the nation. The timing is good. In this period, we are extending forgiveness to people who are incarcerated. It's a sign of prayer to our departed colleagues and other things. It lifts the nation up. So I'd like to thank the president for that issue. I also think that given the sheer number here, publishing the names is going to be a very daunting thing to read. But I'm sure the names definitely would have gone through serious scrutiny and anybody can get access to them. Yes, I do agree that to a certain degree they should be published. And in some instances, the process of pardon should also take into account the victims. Those probably they offended and went into jail. Maybe if you want to pardon them, it is good to at least get the victims informed whether they see someone who has perpetrated violence against them will not bring back memories or fears that they were harboring. So, for example, if you are somebody who was convicted to life for maybe a heinous crime against an individual, it's good they get to know that, okay, this fellow is coming up, and or do you even want this fellow out? But I can guarantee that the Council of State was involved in this, and given the caliber of people there, you have, of course, you can't forget Justice Sophia and Co. These are legal luminaries who understand the nitty-gritties of these issues. They would have done due justice and due diligence to the issue, and I believe that we won't have anybody walking the streets that is a danger. But first-time offenders, it really shocks me that our legal system tend to send first-time offenders sometimes for very petty crimes to jail, and that is what is crowding out our system. We need
I
to
have an issue with that tag first-time offenders. Perhaps it should be first-time convicted, because you see, maybe the person has been engaging in it. This is the first time that they've been arrested and convicted.
Yes, but it still doesn't take away the fact that that's the first time they've been convicted. Or they've been if we were to take that into consideration, then a whole host of people in a certain industry will be in jail because they are, maybe many of them are walking out because they've never been caught. They've not broken Commandment 11. It's not. It doesn't apply to only thieves. It applies to a group of people. I haven't mentioned any names. No, I haven't said any. So let's look at it this way. But sometimes you send chicken thieves to jail, goat and plantain thieves, and then they go crowd out the system. And our penitentiary system needs a whole lot of reform. Yeah. Because it emphasizes the punishment rather than the reform. People have come out of jail in other places to become key drivers of change. They've acquired very good skills and they can easily reintegrate into society. In our cases, they come and then they become burden to the society to their relatives. And so that is where I am worried about. Of course, Larry is interested in how the other two got pregnant. The question crossed my mind. But I was also thinking, I think in some jurisdictions they have some coital rights. That your partner can visit you in jail and they give you somewhere that you get laid up and then they go. So I don't know whether we have that system. I don't know whether we have that system in. If we do not have that in Ghana, then those questions are interesting. Could it be that maybe some prison wardens got two people impregnated and now free them to come and raise their children? We need to know how our system that happened. But at least we still have to congratulate them for giving birth in prison and for the sake that for the fact that we don't want an innocent person to grow up in jail, I think we must commend the president. But let's also go through all our jail systems and ensure that every person who is nursing a kid and their crimes are not that heinous, we let them go. But beyond that, let's work to ensure that we don't have maybe prison births again if we know that it will lead to these people getting free and maybe irrespective of their issues.
Well, one thing that bothers me a lot, and for which reason I agree with Larry on the need to publish their names so we are aware of, is the issue of persons on remand. Yeah. There are persons on remand in prisons whose dockets for years are missing. Yeah. Some might be innocent, some guilty, but until duly so pronounced guilty by a court.
Yeah. I think the former, Chief Justice Georgina Wood started a program like that went quite far. Justice Sofa Akufo continued up to a point, but after a while, I don't think it was that pronounced under Eni Yeboah. I don't know what's happening. So Eni Yeboah succeeded by Tokono, Justice Tokono, whether he continued, but it's key. And then also you see the wife of the acting Chief Justice is the head of the prison service. Yeah. So it's a good combination. That is, the people you guys are jailing is becoming pressure on
taken care of by your wife.
So you guys will have to think through. So why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? I see what I've said something.
Like this morning, this morning you are being Larry. This morning you are being Larry.
I have some wild thoughts.
I'm still a mister. Wait until I become a professor.
But you know, Mister is the highest title.
Oh, okay.
Yes, in medical practice, when you become a consultant, you are referred to as Mister.
Oh,
in medical practice, even as a professor. From professor, you rise up to Mister. So it's the highest title.
Okay, so you want to drop your doctor, your PhD, and be like us?
I'm a Mister anyway.
Yeah. So listen, I mean, there was a story of a guy who was committed a crime and then was to be jailed. Then he was asked about, his plea, and then said, "Oh, my lord, I'm guilty. However, I have I have something to say." I said, "Oh, yeah, I want to hear you." I said, "You know something, please. I want to go to this particular prison."
Hey. He has an agenda.
Oh yeah, he says he wanted to go to a particular prison. They asked him why. He said, oh, he was in prison feeling all comfortable and so on. And out of nowhere, President Kufuor had signed, let's say, a pardon or amnesty for him to be let out. And he's out now, and nobody wants to associate with him. And so he deliberately committed a crime so that to be sent back.
There are people there who actually don't want to come out.
Thank you.
And the prison system itself needs to be investigated because there's a serious ring in there engaging in all sorts of things.
Okay.
But anyways, we'll look at it. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll move into other issues. Don't go away. You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One Television, and we're having the news review segment. Prof. Ayamga Dongo is here. Dr. Palgrave Boache Dankwa is here. Mr. Larry Dogbe is also here. We're moving into the issue of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Ridge Hospital, where I think in the early hours of Monday morning, we saw a live video by a gentleman, Ralph, I think he calls himself Ralph the Citizen or so. It was quite chaotic, very disruptive if you ask me, very disruptive video from the emergency ward of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, suggesting that an accident victim was not being attended to. There was a lot of chaos in that video. The hospital has responded and alleged that some health staff were attacked. The ministry has also spoken to it and said that an investigation has been launched or will be launched into the same matter. Larry, I'll start with you on this one. The emergency wards, I mean, from the few that I've been to, you always see displayed boldly, no photography, no videos. And for a gentleman to be able to go live on Facebook with his phone and everything, for me raises a number of questions. The security lapses at the hospital, one, and the fact that it disrupts care and the giving of same, because whoever you brought might not be the only one needing care at that moment. There are other patients on admission there and all. So I just speak to me on this matter, this video, and how it appears to you.
I didn't. I couldn't watch the video, but I have read bits and pieces of it. The story hasn't really been clear out there as to what exactly, the situation, was, and how the, I don't want to call him assailant, what he did. So I haven't called him assailant. So what he did. But then I've read the statements from the ministry. I think that it's unfortunate that we'll have to get to this level. Now, when I'm in a hospital, it's one of my weakest points in life. I'm desperate. I mean, the distance between life and death is very thin in the hospital. Yeah. So I'm expecting that my privacy should be protected as much as possible. Yeah. That is why doctors or nurses are not allowed to divulge, information about people's health. It's, a total secret.
Confidentiality.
Exactly. Yeah, that has to be done. Now, so in most cases, security is so tight. Because again, through that, once you are weak or you are vulnerable to anybody, one of your fiercest enemy, he could walk into that hospital with a gun or with a knife, and then and do whatever to you. So nobody is even supposed to know where I am. You check permission, you seek permission if I have to, and then so there are visiting hours and all other things like that. Medical people are supposed to come and give you medication when the time is up. But to have let the system so loose that this guy could come in and do whatever he did in the ward, exposing people.
Yeah, other people who had no business.
Yes, who had no business whatsoever. Yeah. Was totally uncalled for. And so, like you said, we need to check whatever security arrangement there are as far as the hospital is concerned. Beyond that, when you fall foul of the law, something has to be done to you. Yeah. I don't know what the protocols are on, intruders into hospitals, what they are supposed to do. The system said they are investigating and then to do whatever they need to do. But meanwhile, they had condemned what he had done. But having said so, you see, when people are desperate, they resort to many things. As I said, the distance between life and death in the hospital is very thin.
Yeah.
And if it's it was an emergency situation, an accident had occurred, and this guy is brought before you, or whoever is brought before you to treat the person. Sometimes when you are responsive to whatever is happening, people know. Common sense is common.
Yeah.
Okay, to the average man. So he will know that you care, and then you are moving on, and then, trying to do something desperately to save a life. But if you are just sitting down, like a daisical, people will start making calls.
Yeah.
Loved ones will be, desperate.
Yeah.
Loved ones will be desperate, and they will resort to anything whatsoever. Years ago, we heard about, people moving from hospital to hospital, and then, security men were the one telling them that, hey, there are no beds here.
Yeah, the no bed syndrome.
Yes, and in the process, the person dies on the way. That same hospital, if a medical doctor had come, they will find a bed. If a relative of that medical doctor had come, we'll find a bed, we'll find whatever it is to treat the person. We have sat on this table and time without number talked about how elsewhere, when let's say a dog or a puppy falls into a gutter, everything is
entire
deployed.
response team.
Exactly. But here, okay, and in the process, that life is lost. If we don't care about the most vulnerable of the living organisms, we won't take the most important seriously. And so it becomes like, one of them.
Right.
And we've had people say, where they are, Obewu, Monjano, this thing. And when you begin to talk like that, so what are we building all these hospitals for? I mean, UGMC there, Reach Hospital there, Kolebu over there, La Agenda, which one? 111 and all that. Were they just, for the audio or sound bites? The orientation must also change.
Yeah.
The orientation must also change. I mean, without that, I've had people mention particular hospitals that, this particular hospital, when you go, you die. So when it happens, don't go there. Go to this other hospital. Don't go here, go there. When you go there, you die. And so when you make a mistake and take your relative there, they are just watching the time for you to call them and say that, Charlie Okanyo, my dad is gone or my mother is gone.
Yeah.
We don't have to take life. We should take life seriously. Nurses are complaining that they don't have jobs. When you give them jobs, doctors are complaining that they've been trained, taxpayers' money. At the point when they are desperate to enter, they throw all that in. However, when they enter, they become, gods that must be worshipped.
Right.
It's becoming one too many.
Very well.
Maybe the attack will change something.
We hope so. Some of these things they serve as reminders and help us reform. Prof, to you, Larry has touched on a number of issues, but I can single out about 3 things. The security labs, as I have mentioned, the attitude of the health workers, which may have allegedly incited whatever transpired, and then the response from the gentleman. Then there was a great number of people in the ward at that time. I found that quite disturbing, because we've been told that the health professionals themselves need to be in a particular state of mind to be able to deliver the care they are supposed to deliver.
Prof, don't forget about the recent strike that they won.
Yes, you see, Larry said something but didn't just drive it home well. I think we need to separate the provision of health infrastructure to building an effective health system.
Yeah.
We more or less are concerned about the infrastructure, the procurement that is involved with it, and then we tend to spread that across the media and celebrate ourselves. But when we finish and we commission them, we do very little to make them actually effective health delivery centers. And that is the key problem here. But regardless of what happened at the Ridge Hospital, there is no room for violence in a place that is supposed to be a place where people go to recover, to receive treatment for pain. It doesn't matter what happened. There should be processes and procedures for addressing shortcomings within the system rather than visiting violence on any person. So I condemn that fully, that it is uncalled for and the culprits need to be sanctioned. As you mentioned, the security in the hospitals must be improved so that you don't have too many people entering the triage area. And but you can see this is a country where you go there. In other places, when you bring somebody at the point of death, they'll tell you, oh, the relatives move away and the nurses and the personnel take it over from there. Here you have to be there. Somebody has to be there. So the crowding is because our health system is not able to provide health care without a relative helping also. So this is where the challenge comes. But you see, if you look at our hospitals, first, there are the infrastructure or the inventory management issues. When I read the story, I heard it was over gauze or something. Gauze or is it cotton? And I was like, this is serious. But it is true. You get to the hospitals and these things are not there. The inventory management systems in our hospitals are problematic. So something is already not there. You have the financial issues there, the National Health Insurance not being up to speed in terms of how it pays bills and the time it used to paying them. So there's always the hospitals having to rely on internally generated funds to procure these things. Then there's the other thing, which is the human element of it, that along all the streets on the hospitals, both sides, you have pharmacies and clinics and everything, mostly owned by people working in the hospitals there. Yes, and labs. And when you get there, they tell you go and buy it. And the go and buy it is creating demand for things that they are selling.
They'll direct you to a particular place to buy from.
People just get to see this, and it only heightens the anger of a relative that has brought somebody at the point of death, and you are seeing it as a business opportunity. So they get very angry. But I'm not going to discount and I'm not going to defend any health worker here, because some are very good. I can tell you some dedicated to your work. But you get to the clinics and you have nurses having iPods on, or what do you call it, earbuds on, and on social media. And when you are calling, they think you are a distraction. And this is where you have some people overreacting and doing things that are not worthy of saying or even describing in public. So those are the problems. But do you have any clear-cut procedure where you use to discipline people? Because if I report somebody and you do nothing, then they report again, chances are that people will take matters into their own hands. And that is where we don't see our health system being responsible and accountable to the people. You have people violating their code of ethics, their code of conduct, and nothing happens to them. It is taken as business as usual. So people get abused, and sometimes you get to the hospital and they give you prescribed wrong medicine and all those things. They happen, and you can't do anything about it. If you report, they tell you we'll investigate, nothing happens. In other places, these are very serious legal, this will have very serious legal ramifications if you do that. But in our system, those procedures are not well developed, and that is why we have these problems. But regardless of the problems we have with our health system, no one should take the law into his or her own hands, enter a health system and attack somebody working to save lives. Sometimes they are overwhelmed. Their salaries may not be good enough, so they have to combine 3 or 2 jobs. They work from this hospital, go here, when they close. So they are already exhausted. So the systemic challenges make it very difficult for them to respond the way we want. But that is not a whole brief for any health worker that is unethical. Sometimes they are really, really disgusting to watch, especially if you have a patient or a relative needing support. You go and see people lying down on the floor there, and the nurses are taking their time and walking, and that is a key challenge here. So I agree that yes, we need to punish the culprit, but we also need to do some soul searching and make sure that anytime we commission a hospital with all the pomp and pageantry. We make sure that we put inside it an effective health delivery system. Yeah.
Very well. Doc, let me come to you.
Che Guevara once said that the revolutionary is guided by a true feeling of love.
Yeah.
You get it? Love.
Original Shegu.
Yes, would have led this person to do whatever he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's your love for the country, for the love of the job, you know, helping you to do the right thing. Medical negligence.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I was coming to. We've had so many cases of medical negligence. We've had the GRNMA say there are about over 1,000 nurses who have graduated since 2022, 2023 and have not been posted. But when the postings happen, we get too many complaints about some of these things. But should it warrant such a reaction as we have seen and heard?
Nana, you know I have a lot of history with Ridge Hospital.
I do, yeah.
Oh, you do?
I do. I have a lot of history with Ridge Hospital.
Nice ones.
Very good ones. Very good experiences.
Yeah.
He will recall when himself and Frema interviewed me after my COVID experience. I had COVID for 30 days. And Dr. Depa told you that I died. So if I'm here, I'm a living testimony of some of the very good work that I helped.
You are not a ghost.
No, I'm not a ghost. Living testimony of some of the very good work that our health practitioners go through. Let's take it through a process, okay? Because I've visited a lot of hospitals in this country. Ridge Hospital's emergency is at the back end of the hospital. So when you enter into the hospital, it's not at the frontal area of the hospital. You need to drive through to the back end of the hospital, and that's where the emergency is. When you hear the word emergency, it's a clear indication that it's an emergency.
Yeah.
And so the emergency doctors, the emergency nurses, everyone that works within the emergency unit has been trained to be able to handle emergency. It is very wrong for a family of a patient to assault any health professional because you don't have the requisite skills to be able to handle the emergency that you have brought, which is why you have brought the emergency to the hospital. And so adequate respect is important for you to accord to the health professional that is going to attend onto the emergency that you have brought. For medical practitioners, it's important that we always remember that they have gone through a period of studies. An accident has occurred. There are very important parts in internal medicine in a human being that is critically important. If your heart is failing, then you're almost about to die.
Yeah.
But if you have had an accident and broken a leg and some part of an artery is not too injured and they are taking time to ensure that they gather the requisite people to come around the table, you may not have the understanding as a non-medical personnel. And so you will not understand why maybe there are some delays. But there are conversations always going around. I am always aware that there are conversations always going around. In an emergency situation, it is important that the emergency doctor, the emergency nurse, the health practitioners have been trained not to panic. But you, who is a non-medic, will panic.
Yeah.
And so you react in a way that you're not supposed to react. I think that much has been said around the table about the security. Sometimes when you take in family persons, it's important that we advise everyone that when you take in family persons, have the hope and trust in the medical professionals that you're handing over these issues to. And I think that as we discuss this on the platform as well, it's important that we encourage the medical practitioners because emergency runs 24 hours and it runs around the clock. I mean, I know they do an 8-hour turner every now and then when people come in. We condemn the actions that happen. It shouldn't happen. When people have accidents and they enter into an emergency unit, the emergency doctors will attend to them. They are either gathering people to make sure that they attend to it so that it can be able to arrive at a requisite end. Look at it very well. People, and as we look at this as well, we need to also look at how we handle patients. And we need the medical professionals to do a lot more social training to the non-medical professionals to be able to handle patients. Because how you handle patients pre getting them to the hospital is critically important to how their survival will be even when they are in the hospital. And so the conversations for me must always, I like to always broaden the conversation, okay? The young man who reacted in the manner in which he reacted, and I'm sorry to go into this extent, sometimes beyond the love, we need to also check the psyche of the people, okay? We need to check the psyche of the people that are carrying family people into the various hospitals. Why would you want to assault a health professional? A health professional has a right to defend himself or herself, and a health professional has a right to ensure that they attend to your ward. The reason why you must always be nice to health professionals is that, look, like Larry said, when you are sick, it's between life and death, and so you must appeal, even though they have been trained to be able to take care of you. You must appeal to ensure that the proper care is given to your patient that you have brought. Emergency in the various hospitals that I've seen, we need to look at the emergency bed system. At Rich Hospital, I don't know how many beds they have at the emergency, but at my last count, which was about maybe 4 years ago when I was there, I think that it's not too big. I mean, I don't know if they would have about 50 beds in the emergency, but we need to look at the emergency units in the country. When people are in emergency, they are in critical care. They're either on oxygen. There are some surgeries that are done at emergency because you need to stabilize the person before you move the person from emergency to a stable place, either ICU or any of the wards, to be able to take care of them. And I would want to use this opportunity for all of us to look at our emergency system in the country. Once you send your patient, who is receiving the patient at the emergency unit? Okay, as we watch it in movies, as we see it outside of this country, who is receiving the patient at the emergency unit? When you also send the patient, where is the family supposed to be?
Right.
So that you don't need to walk into the emergency unit. I find it extremely troubling in this country where we have non-medical persons patrolling in and out of emergency. I find it also extremely troubling why we allow patients to be visited at emergency wards. In this country, we have patients being visited at emergency wards. And I find it extremely troubling. I've also recognized in recent times that people are discharged from emergency ward straight to the house. I find that very troubling. You don't find it anywhere standard practice around the world where people are discharged from emergency straight to the house. I don't want to name any hospital because I don't want to put any hospital in trouble. But patients are moved from emergency to ward for them to be stabilized. Then you can discharge them. I recall when I was discharged, when I recovered from COVID in 2021, and they asked that I go home. Dr. Nipa said that I was not fully discharged. And so I was fully discharged after a week after my review. And so there are patients that are out of the hospital that are not fully discharged, but you'll be fully discharged after your review. So it's important that we look at that. When you are sick at emergency unit, please, doctors, medical doctors, superiors that are looking after hospitals, I don't know the practice, but I think it's awkward for you to discharge patients from emergency ward. Move them to the medical wards where they are stabilized, where people can visit them. I also think that it's wrong for you to allow family members to visit patients at emergency ward. Emergency ward are not places where non-medical people should go. It's clearly for medical practitioners, it's clearly for doctors, for surgeons, for specialists, and not for family people. Once you bring your family there, you're supposed to leave them in the care of the caregivers, and then when they move them to the ward, you can visit them.
Very well, thank you.
Quickly. We have a situation where, for instance, our ambulance system, elsewhere the ambulance will bring you and then hands you over to the medical officials. Again, we have a situation where, I mean, this thing where most often the hospital doesn't have certain medication and so on, and so they ask a family member to be around. Go and buy from this, go and buy this medicine and bring. And then food for the sick. Most of the hospitals, I'm not sure they provide food for the sick.
It has to be brought in.
It has to be brought in. And then also where, like we said, vulnerable. You can solve yourself anytime. And you need a family member to be around to, you know, go and take care of that, you know, your clothes and then bring it. So I think the system as we have here encourages, you know, family members to be around, whether emergency or, you know, just
somewhere
OPD.
in the Volta region, we're told in one of the facilities, they'll tell you there's no blood.
Yeah.
But go and see the security man.
There's no blood, but what?
Go and see the security man.
What the security,
man knows how to get you blood.
So again, blood comes in here too.
It's a purveyor of blood.
So there's no, we need blood, you know, you have to gather, call family members and so on. So.
Right. Thank you, gentlemen. We're just about wrapping up, but there's a quick one on the GTEC issue. We've been referred to a number of sections in the Act, the 1023, Section 7I, 82C, 84D, and E, and we're told that it specifically provides guidelines on the functions of the GTEC regarding certifications.
Okay.
We're told that sections 8, 4D, and E specifically mandates GTEC to do what they are doing currently.
We are grateful, but they should do the other things as
very
well.
Very well.
I think that, you see, there are so many people in this country using PhDs. Using, I won't say fake, but either questionable, let me put it that way. And they are left. GTEC know many of them. I don't want to mention names. I'm sure people on this table know people.
GTEC has just issued a statement condemning the use of fake titles.
Yes, it's widespread. So when you now tend to go after exposed public office holders, that is where I think there is this double standard here. There are some people that are above the law. You don't go after them, and you go others. I don't think it is the right way to go.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Professor Michael Ayamga Adongo, he's the Deputy CEO from the EPA. Larry Dogbe, editor of the Herald newspaper, and Dr. Palgraves Boache Dankwa, a member of the New Patriotic Party, NPP. I am Nana Tufo Boate. Many thanks for your time. Breakfast Daily continues after this.